howdy. It's the Victor Wilt Show, Thursday, June 13th, one step closer to the weekend. All right. You ready for the weekend? I am as well. Today and tomorrow are going to go by quickly. I command time to pass at an accelerated rate until the weekend, then it's got to creep. And it's got to just creep on by. Unless, obviously, for you, the weekend is not your weekend, then I don't know. You work on doing whatever to get time to pass in whatever manner you see it needs to, and I'm just focusing on me, all right? How's it going? I hope well. I just exhausted myself this morning reading an article about mastic gum. All right, what this is gum that is hard to chew. Nobody want to read about that at this hour? Yeah, gum that's extremely hard to chew. It's for dudes who want to have a chiseled jawline. Look at me. Look how tough my jaw is. I chew gum like you wouldn't believe. Dudes, there's probably an app for that. If you really want to have the chiseled jaw, just use an app. Yeah. Post your photos on whatever social media or dating site you're that concerned about your chiseled jaw on and move about your life. All right? This sounds like a miserable way to go about your day. Chewing is supposed to be enjoyable. You're supposed to be eating some good food, and you chew it up, and it's awesome. Chewing as exercise? I don't know. Maybe if you're really into exercise, like, all right, I just got done lifting weights for an hour. Now it's time to chew. That's right. It does make me wonder, how hard is this gum to chew? What can you mess up your teeth with this? I don't think you're supposed to chew things that are extremely hard to chew. And does it actually give you a chiseled jawline? Let's see what the internet says. Does mastic gum give you a jawline? According to orthodontics only, it may. I don't know about may. Okay, what about Healthline? Chewing gum can improve masticatory performance related to function and strength in some people. This don't sound very solid to me. Yeah, because most of the chewing muscles are in your cheeks and neck, not in your jaw. So it's not, okay, according to Healthline, it does not affect the appearance of your jawline. It strengthens muscles in your tongue and cheeks, which, ain't bad, but you're just chewing away at something that sucks to chew and you're getting nowhere. So, if the article I'm reading is correct, as I am no doctor, you certainly can't listen to me for medical advice, I'd stop wasting your time with that chewing, dudes. If you don't have a chiseled jaw, Photoshop or those simple make me pretty apps. All right, dudes, there you go. I'm always down to figure out some life hacks that would make, random things easier. Anything to save a little bit of time or hassle. It's a popular thread on Reddit right now. Haven't even read through it, so this could be completely useless. I was working on some other behind-the-scenes stuff and failed to properly prepare for a break. It's what happens when you're doing a live show. I don't got a week to plan this thing out and then edit it up and this and that. I'm just going. I'm just up, rolling, going. So what's a stupid life hack that actually worked out? All right. Oh, I don't like the name of this user, Jaded AD. Anything that has the word jade in it, Anyhow, moved to another state and wanted to attend this state university. You have to live in state for a year before they would consider you a resident. The tuition was a lot more for non-residents. I read the fine print, and it said if you own a business, you could be considered a resident immediately. I got a business license for my new business. Green Thumbs Landscaping Company mowed my neighbor's lawns and saved a ton. Always read the fine print, I guess. It's not breaking the rules. They actually did some work. All they needed was a lawnmower. All right, smart move. My daughter is preparing to attend college in the fall in Washington. I hope that she would have been about a year, I guess, in the fall. I'm going to check with her on that. If I'm going to end up having to help out with school with that money, she might have to start mowing lawns. Tell you what, we got to save some dough. College expensive. All right, let's see here. Well, that one has a lot of naughty language, so we'll avoid that. That was just kind of a self-motivating thing. All right, let's see. When someone you like or respect does something confusingly infuriating, imagine the most favorable to them possible explanation and pretend it's true. Wait until you know more before getting reflexively angry. Okay, how about just in general? Wait until you know more, or just take a deep breath before getting reflexively angry. I've known plenty of people who do not take a breather before they speak, before they think. They just immediately, bam, let something get them crazy. I had to learn as I got older, don't react immediately. There might be times I wanted to fire off an email to somebody. I'll show them, and you start typing. Terrible idea. That angry react, it's never going to work out well. Even when somebody deserves it. Even if somebody absolutely deserves it, you never win with an angry, frustrated reaction. I know that it seems cliche to be like, turn the other cheek or, breathe deep, blah, blah, blah. But I promise that if you just, you still may need to react with the proper level of frustration. I'm not saying just let people walk all over you or anything like that. You got to calculate your response so that you don't end up looking worse than the other person. A nice, cool, calculated response is always best. Take it from me, all right? As someone who has gut reacted, lashed out, it's never worth it. If I really wanted to get somebody who's frustrated me, a cool, calculated, well thought out way to respond. Always the best route. Always the best route. Let's go to the phones here. K-Bear, you are live on the show. Keep that in mind. Who's this?
Hey, it's Brian.
Brian, what's up?
So this is one of those simple life hacks that it actually works and it makes life easier if you're out like on the water kayaking. I don't know if you have any kayaks. Super simple, like recreational sport to get into at the entry level. Anyway, anchors. Being anchored to something with a kayak is super, super useful. As long as you're not in really, really deep waters, you can just take like a really big dog leash and that anchor will retract itself. Like one of those dog leashes that are retractable for like the big old chunky dogs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because like I was going through a dilemma because I was out on the river trying to catch crawfish and fish. And I kept wanting to like tie off to stuff. And I was like, yeah, but I don't want to like roll that rope up or whatever and to get an anchor. So you can just get like a little clip on, the little clip for the dog leashes and the dog leash and just like anchor to a branch or to an actual like physical anchor and then just pull it up. And that leash will retract itself and put itself away because it's retractable. Super simple, solves a stupid problem. And it's kind of a common sense thing, you know what I mean? Anyway, that's it. That's all I got.
Dude, that's a great hack for sure. Because,
right?
if you would like to be stable when kayaking, a rope does sound like a major hassle. It's going to be all wet sitting in the boat with you.
Exactly.
It sounds awful. So, that's a great hack, man. Never thought of that one. And,
right?
if somebody's looking for a great outdoor activity who's not into, like me, I don't like getting into natural water. Being in a kayak ain't too bad. So.
Wait, are you one of the dudes that has like the phobia of open water, just like water in general? Of deep water?
If it's natural water, I don't like to get into it for a variety of reasons.
No, and that's great. Like I get it. like people that have phobias are normal. People that don't have phobias, those are the broken ones. So
Yeah. You know, there's some people out there who have zero phobia, crazy adrenaline junkies. I was talking with somebody at lunch the other day about those guys who do the free climbing, where they'll go climb something like, the rock faces at Yosemite with no ropes.
Yeah, we have a name for them in my part of the world where I grew up.
Can you say it on air? What was
it? Crackhead. That's it. Just crackhead.
Okay, crackheads.
I don't know if I can say that on air, but that's what we called those people.
I think we can say crackheads. That, as far as I know, isn't profane. So.
Right. Anyway, that's all I got, man. I appreciate it.
Hey, thanks, man. Have a good one.
All right. Hail Hydra.
Peace, man. K-Bear, what's happening?
I called to share a life hack that actually saved me a lot of time and bath time terror.
All right. What do you got?
If you have small children who have just recently learned to sit up and now they're all about sitting up on their own and stuff like that, you put them in the bathtub with a laundry basket and put their toys in it. So if they lean over to reach for a toy, there's less chance of them like falling over in the bath because their toys don't go that far.
Oh, that is a pretty good life hack. Yeah.
Yep, I used it for my daughter for like about a year because I was just really nervous she was going to fall over in the bath. Like, not that I left her unattended or anything, but it just makes it less worrisome because her toys didn't float away that far.
Yeah.
So it was a total stress saver when it came to bath time and my kid trying to play in the bath, being independent as they are as they grow. So I was like, okay, mom can't just sit here and hold on to you so you don't fall into the water. So one day I put a laundry basket in the bathtub and put all of her toys in it and filled the bath like normal. And it just saved me a lot of stress.
Nice. That's a great idea. Wish I would have thought of that one when my kids were little. Cause yeah, you're just watching every second like, oh, please don't tip over.
Absolutely. Yeah. My daughter's 7 now, but at the time it was such a, like, I had far fewer heart attacks.
Anything to help keep the nerves down when you got the children around.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Contain them in every way.
Well, right on. Appreciate that life hack today. And I hope you have a good rest of your Thursday.
Oh, you too. Thank you.
Hey, thanks. Thanks for listening as well.
Absolutely.
What other kind of life hacks, simple life hacks that actually work do we have here on the post on Reddit? When you're trying to remember someone's name, think of a stupid mnemonic. Even if it doesn't make sense. I once met a guy named Lance, and I remembered he was Lance with the pants, even though there was nothing remarkable about his pants. Yeah, as someone who forgets everything, as you know, if you listen to this show, I've got to really make an effort to remember things, especially names and such. Like, I just mentioned I got a call from Amanda. I'll bet I wouldn't have remembered what her name was if I didn't point out to myself, Amanda, like your sister, because I have a sister named Amanda. That made it easy. Usually with people's names, I got to try something, more in the vein of, the Lance thing there. It's really good. Anything you need to remember, if you're forgetful, writing it down or repeating it to yourself repeatedly. Like, I will absentmindedly set things in places, and then I can't find them, which is why it's good to maybe have one place to put certain things. Just always put them there so you know they're going to be there. If you're forgetful, that's a very good piece of advice. But if I'm going to set something down that I realize I'm being sort of absent-minded about, or I want to be able to find it soon, I got to repeat to myself inside of my mind, the remote is on the dining room table. Remote, dining room table. Remote, dining room table. I got to just bash this stuff into my head because I think my brain's just constantly going, and thus I can't remember things because I just one thought to the next, boom, boom, boom. And sometimes the simple things like, where did you put the remote? It's just gone. It's just gone. Oh, funny, I was scrolling through here and one of the tips that just popped up, writing things down by hand helps you remember them better. You should see my desk piled with notes. For one thing, I like having the pile of notes there to intimidate me and be like, look at all the work you have to do. Look at all the things you're forgetting to do. But also, there is something to be said about writing these things down that helps me remember them a little bit better. It's not perfect. It's not perfect by any means. I do have to look through the notes. But I like to, again, intimidate myself into getting my tasks done by having this somewhat messy pile of Post-it notes and sheets of paper on my desk. And it's real satisfying, too, when you get a sheet completed and you crumple it up and throw it in the garbage. I do this with bills at home, too. If I want to make sure I'm going to pay a bill, I've got one place I keep them all. But if I really feel like I'm going to forget something, I'll just lay them all out on my dining room table to, scare the crap out of me every time I get home. Look at these things you need to deal with. And I get them dealt with. And again, very satisfying when I can throw them away. What other simple life hacks do we got here? Basically, they said, use a squatty potty. If you don't know what a squatty potty is, it's a stool that goes around your toilet. It's supposed to be helpful. Most people say it changes their life. I mean, you can try it out there. They just said use a little stool, but they're branded as squatty potties, ones that fit right around your toilet, just so you know. In the morning while showering or getting dressed, think about the things you're grateful for. It will help you start the day with a better mindset. No guarantee it will last, but it helps to start. And then the next person, trying to be more positive in general. So I began small, simply complimenting every Ford Transit van I drive past. 12 times a day, I'll say to myself, nice Ford Transit. I picked that car because of a Jeremy Clarkson Top Gear joke years ago. Since then, I found myself quicker to compliment others and finding more positivity in the mundane. Highly recommend anything you can do to keep yourself more positive. I do honestly think that intense negativity a lot of it is a personal choice. And, I've talked to negative people before who they get frustrated by people who are like, stay positive. Well, tomorrow's a new day. Blah, blah, blah. Try to look at the bright side of things. I don't know. I really think that if you do that, your day-to-day life is going to be better. My mom was always saying, tomorrow could be a better day, or hey, this could be worse. There's these good things going on. She was always so positive, and it affected the people around her in a great way. Sure, people who are cynical might have said it's ridiculous. There's all these problems in the world. You got this and that going on. It's stupid to be positive all the time. I don't know. My mom, she sure seemed pretty happy. Even when she was going through some of the most horrible stuff a person can go through. So I highly recommend it. I try to take inspiration from that and keep myself positive. It's made a major difference in how I physically feel. Being able to be, positive as possible and look at the bright side of things, it's helpful. It'll make you feel physically better. Your day-to-day life will be better, and it's better for the people around you. Nothing worse than somebody who's just negative all the time. I've had these kind of people in my life who, every little thing that is a problem's got to be this big end of the world thing. It drains you. If you got somebody around you who is constantly negative, it's very, very negative on your own existence. So try to encourage them to look at the bright side of things. Unfortunately, sometimes you got to distance yourself from people who are like that. I get it. It's hard, but there's another simple life hack. Don't let somebody else's misery be a drain on you, because you've only got so much time on this planet, and other people can make you physically ill with their constant negativity. So anyhow, I don't know if we're going to continue with life hacks or not. I don't know. Maybe you're cranky this morning and don't want to hear me saying, be positive. Well, Sorry. I think it's good to encourage that because you'll feel better. It might be tough. And trust me, I have days where I'm just going to be cranky. But in general, I try to look at the bright side of things. Just relentless with the bumper sticker phrases. Again, I am no kind of expert or doc or anything. I just personally think that if you can radiate genuine positivity through troubling times, it's a benefit to you and others around you. And there is definitely going to be those days where that's not possible. But I think trying to find things to be grateful for and trying to find things to stay positive about, even when you're, as down as can be, sometimes the tiniest little thing could make a big difference when you feel overloaded with a variety of issues. Take it from somebody. I've been extremely down before. And for guys, it's I think extra difficult sometimes to figure out how to deal with problems and things. Especially right now. Right now, there is some ridiculous dude culture going on online where, I don't know, you got these influencer guys trying to tell all guys, you need to man up, you need to pull yourself up by your bootstraps, you need to be a tougher dude, that's right, we're alpha, blah, blah, blah. Listen, guys, ain't nothing wrong with having some emotions. Ain't nothing wrong with being understanding of others. And if you need to, I highly recommend talking to somebody. All right? I talk to a counselor. I do. I've gone through stretches where I don't. And every time that I go to that office, even on days when I'm like, I don't need to do this. Everything's great. Everything's been fine for a long time. I don't need to do this. I probably don't need to go anymore. I don't know. Every time that I walk in there, something, comes to the surface and I'm like, oh, I didn't realize I was dealing with that. I always walk out of there feeling better than when I walked in. And I know that for a lot of guys, it's like, oh, I'm a tough man. I don't need help. I don't need that kind of thing. No, it's okay to go get yourself some help. Block out these toxic idiots online who, I personally think are steering men in a pretty poor direction. All right? That type of mentality, to me, is not making guys real men. All right, all these toxic influencers. All right, just reach out to people if you need a little bit of help. Sometimes just talking to a professional, you wouldn't believe the impact it can have on your day-to-day life. Okay, dudes, I don't know. Don't let random cultural things tell you that you need to be a certain way or you're not a real man. Get yourself, the assistance you need to be a good, better human being. It's good for you and it's good for everybody around you. Make your day-to-day life better. Speaking of being positive, my cat, I have about had it with his negativity. Koopa. He is such an old grump. I got this nice, sweet little kitten, and he is just a hater. I hope he comes around. I'm not going to get rid of the kitten. I really like that little kitten. And he is just a grump. And then I have, these cameras that are around my house. One of them goes off, and I think it's Koopa out back. So I take a look. And it's the cat Yuri. the stray, toxic individual Yuri wandering around in the backyard, hanging out with Koopa. He'll hang out with the squirrel. He'll hang out with Yuri. You know, some random stray that's full grown. He sees this little kitten, and you would think he's spotted, I don't know, a demon from the depths below. It's crazy. When did he decide to buddy up with Yuri? Yes, the stray cat has a name. I don't know if Peach has used this question for his to Peach their own question, but I've been trying to work my mind through it here. You're on a 10-hour road trip and you can only listen to one music artist. Who's it going to be? What artist has 10 hours of music? Now, I'm sure you would think I would go, well, Tool. But they only have like 5 albums or something. You know, you're going to have to start looping. Could you pick, it does say one music artist. So could I go Maynard and then I can listen to A Perfect Circle, Pussifer, and Tool, and there's plenty of music? You know, because I was thinking, all right, maybe the Beatles. They have a lot of albums, but their albums are short. That might not be 10 hours. And I don't want to listen to all the bootlegs and stuff, you know, the anthology albums. Here's 10 different versions of, you know, so-and-so song. Now, I just want to hear the one version of one song. What about Pink Floyd? They might have 10 hours of music, maybe. I don't know. Not a lot of bands out there. King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. They've got to have 10 hours of music because they put out like 4 albums a year. Those guys are crazy. These guys, they've got to be the most prolific band ever. They started in 2012. They dropped their first album in 2012. So 12 years ago. They have released 25 studio albums, 16 live albums, 3 compilation albums, 1 remix album, 3 EPs, 59 singles, and 60 music videos. Super epic. And they do about every genre of music you could imagine. Like that song, Gila Monster, not representative of the band. So I recommend you dig in and check them out. Let's take a call here and see what this person would go for. K-Bear, what's up?
Hey, yeah, about your question about 10 hours of music.
Yeah.
Metallica's got more than that.
Metallica. They would definitely have more than 10 hours of music. Yeah. So
they got like 15 hours or so, including covers.
Yeah, would that be your go-to?
Oh, yeah, for one artist?
Yeah.
That long? Oh, yeah.
Lots of variety in there, lots of different types of sounds. I don't know why I didn't think about Metallica. Definitely got a big discography.
Oh, yeah, they do.
All right, man. Well, appreciate the call today.
All right, no problem. You have a good day.
You too, man. Peace.
Peace.
Yeah, it is a tricky question simply due to the fact that, I don't know, if you don't want to have any repeats, it is kind of tricky to find an artist with 10 full hours of music. I think 9 Inch Nails would have 10 hours of music, but you might have to include remixes and live albums and things like that. I don't know. They have those Ghosts albums, which Peaches was giving me grief for listening to the other day. I was in my office trying to work on clocks for the radio stations, and I just needed something very peaceful, no lyrics, just... And I listened to the Ghosts albums for like 3 hours. I think it drove him nuts. I am just kicking myself because, you know, we've started recording all of our shows so we can repost them on demand, available everywhere that podcasts can be found. And I know you're probably thinking, what, you never recorded your shows before? They are automatically recorded, but the recorder that just automatically records anything is not nearly as good quality as if I do it the proper way right here. So I can't believe that I failed to record the entire Freak News with my homie Sean from KUPD, but I don't know. I'll check the air checker and maybe it'll be up to snuff to add it to the podcast version of the show that I'll post later today. Oh, well. Moving on. Let's talk about a problem hotel in Omaha, Nebraska.
It's a local motel that police and city leaders say is a source of problems that have been impacting nearby neighborhoods.
I tell you, this is not the first time this has happened. Why on earth are there professional news organizations like KMTV, MTV, 3 News Now in Omaha that cannot output their audio through both speakers? Are you in your vehicle right now listening to this? In my headphones, it's certainly all coming through the left speaker. Sorry.
I'm Molly Hudson near 84th and Grover. This is an area that neighbors I've talked to are increasingly concerned about because of crime and safety issues. Now,
hold on. What market number is Omaha, Nebraska? Give me a second here. Omaha, Nebraska, metro population number. Let's see if that brings up. Okay. Here's how many people live in the Omaha, Nebraska metro area. That would be just over 1 million people. 1 million people. The nation's 40th most populous city, Omaha, Nebraska, and the local news cannot output their audio in stereo. Okay, anyway, sorry, back to the article.
Now I've learned the city is putting pressure on this motel as they work to address these quality of life concerns. What Omaha police told neighbors about this motel is so surprising, we'll play it twice.
Okay, what do you think they're going to say? And after they say it, there's going to be a collective, oh, why? Of course you would play this, Victor. There's only one reason that I brought up this article. And it is the quote that you're about to hear. And I guess they play it twice. I heard it once and was like, yep, that's going to be one of my breaks. All right, here we go.
Told neighbors about this motel is so surprising, we'll play it twice.
3 years ago, the night clerk was accepting ground beef as payment for a room.
That's Captain John Sokolik.
What's wrong with that? Come on. I mean, totally understandable. What hotel clerk, if offered a package of ground beef, brutal beef, would turn that down in exchange for a hotel room? I mean, we're talking red gold, people. Red gold.
And here's that soundbite again.
3 years ago, the night clerk was accepting ground beef as payment for a room.
He says officers are here so often that the department is now calling the Motel 6 corporate office.
Now, who cares about all that? I think that KMTV, they need to play it 10 times. What was up with that? You know, I don't think it's bragging to play that quote 2 times. You got to play it at least 10.
Here's that soundbite again.
3 years ago, the night clerk was accepting ground beef as payment for a room.
Well, I guess you know what next clip is ending up in the K-Bear imaging. Well, this story makes me feel better about the fact that I haven't mowed my lawn for, week and a half or so. It's getting a little bit, disheveled looking. It's not the best lawn on the road, that's for sure. But at least I know I'm doing it often enough that if I had a package delivered that I couldn't find on delivery day, I would find it in less than 2 years. There was a woman in the UK who was pulling weeds out of the ground, and she found this plastic bag. It was all, rotted and decrepit. Had a filthy, decomposed dress. Now, you might be going, oh, geez, horror movie. No, she had ordered this dress back in 2022. Thought she never got it, even though the delivery company was like, yeah, we delivered it. So they went back and forth, and eventually the company's like, no, we delivered it. We're not giving you a refund. 2 years later, she's finally cleaning up her yard, I guess, and she finds this dress, and she called the company again. She's like, apparently one of your employees just threw the dress into my yard. They didn't put it on my front step. Yeah, do they not mow the lawn in the UK? I don't know what her yard looks like. Maybe I should pull up the article, see if there's different versions with some pictures here. I mean, all I saw was it's really gross looking, the decomposed dress. It looks nasty. But they don't, in this article, show any pictures of her yard. So I'm just passing judgment, assuming she got a trashy yard. It's her own fault. She didn't clean it up. Got weeds so tall, the dress was able to hide out in it. And it says she's out pulling weeds. All right? When you're pulling weeds, to me, that says this is a small area. You're not going to pull a whole acre of weeds. You'd get out a beastly mower and knock them down. I could forgive that, but the phrase pulling weeds tells me she had a little area where there were some weeds, and she hasn't cleaned these weeds for years. All right? I'm not trying to pass judgment on you if you have areas like that either. I got leaves piled up around my backyard trees that have been there for 2 seasons. I keep telling myself I need to get out and rake them, but I already told you I didn't mow the lawn. So I am equally shaming myself. Well, maybe not as equal, because I did say I wouldn't lose a package for 2 years. But actually, when I come to think of it right now, I don't know what is on the side of my shed closest to the fence. There could be anything over there. Maybe I'll check it out. There's an article making the rounds on East Idaho News. A number of these articles making the rounds in East Idaho talking about this water curtailment crisis going on with local farmers. If you haven't dug into any of this, I don't even know what to make of some of this. It seems strange to me that we can't, between everybody involved here, figure out a way to make this work. I believe keeping farms operating is pretty important in this region. We're a very highly agricultural driven area. So if you haven't dug into any of these articles, shared one on the Cannonball K-Bear page. Go to eastidahonews.com. There's an interview with Frank Vandersloot. He's been talking to a lot of local farmers and kind of goes into what's going on here. It's, again, just kind of confusing to me why this hasn't just gotten sorted out. And I think bringing awareness to the issue, letting people know this is happening, get people reaching out to politicians and things like that, seems like there's got to be a way to fix something like this. Not just there's nothing we could do, and we're just going to let farms dry up. I don't know. It's very strange. So check out the articles, dig in, talk to people, spread the word. I don't know. This doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So hopefully they will get the issue fixed. Very strange. Just, go check it out. What am I looking at here? How did I get linked to this? This hurts my mind. I'm looking at a page that says Spreadsheet Superstars. I'd try to read the link out for you, but it's very long. This has something to do with an Excel spreadsheet competition. And I'm looking at a black and green spreadsheet that goes on, and it's, like I said, background is black, text neon green. And it's a story about the Excel spreadsheet competition happening in Las Vegas. Now, was this made on an actual Google Doc spreadsheet? I think it was. And the work here, obnoxious as it is, I would call impressive. Peaches must have been drawn in by the site. Peaches, look at this glorious spreadsheet.
Great.
It's amazing. It's live. It's an animated spreadsheet, and it's a story, Peaches, about the Excel spreadsheet competition. Didn't you say on ESPN they have the Excel spreadsheet championships?
On ESPN, the Ocho.
That's right.
When that comes around.
Apparently it's happening right now, and I don't know if the person making this article is just trying to show their skills or what, but I did not realize you could make animations in a spreadsheet. They're like old school NES style graphics or old PC games. It's very impressive.
Yeah, I barely know anything about Excel besides enter names and numbers. That's about it. I don't know the shortcuts or anything.
Yeah, there's a lot you can do with it, these formulas and crazy things like that. The best way to find out how to use it is when somebody gives you a task, Google that task and then go, I got this, no problem, I know what I'm doing.
Exactly.
That's what most computer repairmen are doing, I think. Come over to fix your computer.
IT for sure.
Mm-hmm. All right, what issue do we got going on here? All right, just go ahead and go do some things. And, they're just firing up Google.
And now with that helpful AI overview, it could make it even worse because that AI overview stinks.
Yeah, I haven't monkeyed much with that yet, but I think as we move forward, AI is just going to move into everything.
Oh yeah, Google just made a deal with OpenAI, ChatGPT, and all that. Something about that.
Oh, I was going to say, what's the deal?
Oh,
they got a deal?
Like Google
what are they
will
doing?
use OpenAI for certain things. Yeah.
Well, Google already knows pretty much everything about us. So if we implement more AI into Google, this is one step toward getting us quicker to the robot overlords. I saw an article, I believe, yesterday where it might have been a Google employee or somebody working for an AI company said something like a 60% chance of computers taking over and controlling us.
But yet they still want to develop AI for no reason.
Yeah.
It's the stupidest thing on the planet.
I've said it a million times. At this point, with the type of people that the average human being elects to office and the choices we get for politicians, I think I'm about done. I welcome our computer overlords. I think they might make wiser decisions. They're going to factor in everything from all the sources of information out there everywhere. They don't get stuck in one rut of thinking, I'm on team A.
Are you saying
I can
people
only
are
do
dumb?
it this way? I don't think they're dumb.
Well,
I think that they're
I think otherwise.
being misled. I think that people are, easily manipulated, and that they get stuck in an echo chamber of information. It's not their fault. I don't think people are dumb. Some people are dumb. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying everybody ain't dumb. I've met some dumb people. But I think a lot of people, they just aren't presented with certain perspectives. They don't see it. And so they never have the chance to analyze it. And part of the reason is probably because of politicians. So we need the robot overlords. I'm all for it. Bring on the AI controlling us. You seen The Matrix? Worked out fine for everybody.
iRobot?
iRobot, it worked out fine for everybody. All right, I've got something for every workplace. Some folks might not like it, but I don't care. I'm an advocate for these toilet timers. That's right. Guess they just installed these in China at the Yonggang Buddhist grottos. Yeah, timers above every toilet stall. So I guess you can be like, hurry up in there! You've been in there for 3 minutes and 17 seconds. Come on! Enough's enough! What is a reasonable time to start yelling at somebody who's been in the bathroom? At home, maybe it's different. But in a public place, you gotta hurry up and get the job done. Maybe you work in a place where there's only one restroom for the guys and one restroom for the ladies, all right? But you got a lot of people working there. And you have these people that they show up to work and they just immediately go camp in the bathroom. That's right, I'm doing it on the company dime. Oh, good for me. No, do your job, all right? Get the job done. Get that other job done before you come here, and then get to work, all right? So that some people don't have to wait forever to get in and use the facilities. Maybe what they need to do is put the timer inside. Maybe people just lose track of time. They're in there and scrolling away on their phone, and they don't realize that 20 minutes have gone by. Maybe if you had a big, bold, light-up timer that right when you shut that stall door, it's just in your face. It's so bright, you can't help but notice the timer going. And as the time increases, the pressure mounts. Maybe you slowly, I don't know, can we make the bathroom more uncomfortable? You slowly turn up the heat in there or something. I don't know, that might make it more comfortable. Maybe cold. The AC starts blasting just at the highest level possible. And the higher up the timer goes, the more uncomfortable the bathroom gets. And then irritating noises start playing through speakers. What kind of noises? I don't know. We got to figure out what's a really annoying noise that would get anybody to leave. The sound of buzzing insects at high volume. And then the people who are outside waiting, they know when they start hearing the bees, they're like, all right, All right. The times come, they're going to be about out of there. The volume gets louder and louder. It gets colder and colder. And that zzz, it just starts to hurt your head. It starts to hurt badly. And then feedback sounds. Then you got this microphone that drops down from the ceiling and it swings in front of the speaker with the bees and it just starts feeding back. And it's on this endless loop of bees and feedback. And the timer's still just growing and growing and getting, the volume on the bees is turning up and the timer's getting brighter. And finally they're like, I can't take it anymore. And they get out of there. And I think all of this happens within, I'm going to go like 3 minutes tops on the timer. And we get people out of there. Keep that bathroom opened up for people who need it. All right, let's stop those campers. As far as I know, in China, all they've got is a little, just a timer, basic timer above the stall. And the article says reactions are mixed. I think you got to go with my angle on this thing, all right? I know how to get the job done. Make an effective bathroom timer. Okay, was it last week that I talked about this beached whale on the Oregon coast? You got a dead whale, and the authorities were urging people to stay away from it. And I mentioned in passing how there's this legendary newscast from back in, I believe, the 70s, maybe the 80s, where they were trying to figure out how to get this giant whale carcass off the beach, because it's giant, it smells bad, and they decided we're going to blow it up. And it did not end well. The blast did not blow it out to sea as they had hoped. It just blew the whale sky high. Cars were smashed by, whale parts and blubber and all this stuff. A disgusting, rotting whale. It was a disaster. They even have a plaque on the coast in memory of the event at that particular beach. Well, this whale washed ashore back on May 27th. This one that I mentioned, maybe it was a couple weeks ago. I don't know. And it's still there. Still there, getting nastier by the day. So, what are they going to do about it? Well, hundreds have signed a petition. Hundreds of locals have signed a petition urging authorities to blow it up. And then you start reading the article. And they are saying the exact same things that they said the first time they did this when it didn't work out. It didn't work out at all. It was a terrible, terrible idea. But the petition advocates for a controlled explosion of the whale carcass, not only as a practical solution to its disposal, but as a public spectacle that offers a rare educational experience to the community. And the other article has pictures of the last time they did it. The change.org, or is it a change.org? I don't know what place it's a petition on. Yeah, it is change.org. It says, the concept of disposing of beached whale carcasses through explosion, though unconventional, is steeped in history and can be a highly effective measure under expert guidance. Has it worked out before? I've only ever heard of it not working out. And the disgusting, horrible, not pleasant mess that was left behind afterward. The article goes on, the controlled use of explosives would rapidly break down the whale's remains, making the cleanup process more manageable and minimizing environmental impact. And, more importantly, okay, I don't think this is more important. Getting the carcass off of the beach, perhaps breaking it into small pieces to feed wildlife like birds and other fish. That's what I would think could be most important about this process. But the petition says, more importantly, it provides a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for the public to witness a controlled scientific procedure that is both awe-inspiring and educational. Oh! Like, have you ever seen a solar eclipse? A full, total solar eclipse, that's what I would call awe-inspiring. Or, I don't know, maybe you visited the Grand Canyon. Awe-inspiring. Maybe the Oregon coast itself, the beach. I think that seeing the Oregon coast can be awe-inspiring. I don't think you need to take and blow up a whale to make it more awe-inspiring. And what? All right, we're going to educate you people here. This is what happens when you blow up a whale. That's the educational process. I mean, it could be very educational as to why to not do it if the same thing happens as the last time they did it. The article goes on to explain what happened the last time. Chaos, disaster. There's literally video of it you can look at and see. You know, cars being crushed like a quarter of a mile away. Well, that's people for you. That's people for you. It'll be different this time. Some people never learn. There are plenty of times when just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. There was a second grade teacher in Northern California. Well, we don't really know for sure if she showed up to school hammered, but she was hammered during school. She may have gotten hammered there. Originally, she was arrested for DUI because she was busted teaching at the elementary school all hammered up. So they assumed she drove there. But then you got, all of these attorneys fighting back and forth. Her attorney, from what I understand here, was like, no, she didn't drive there. She must have gotten drunk at the school. And it's not illegal to teach drunk. Well, the charges of being intoxicated in class dropped because apparently, at least in Northern California, it is not illegal to teach drunk. Again, just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. I assume she doesn't have a job anymore because even though it might not be illegal, I would imagine that somewhere in the employee handbook, there's something relating to being intoxicated with your class, regardless of how old, second grade or what. Children, I'm sure, can be annoying. Maybe teachers are sitting there going, oh, some of these days I could use a shot. Don't do it. And if the kids annoy you that bad, you shouldn't be teaching. All right? You're showing up to work aggravated every day. You got to find a different job. That's what you got to do. All right? No sense letting yourself get all worked up to the point that you start hammering down booze at class. All right. Well, anyway, yeah, I don't know if she got fired. I'm going to assume. But I just want to remind you, because I'll see people, hey, what? It's not against the law. I've heard people justify a variety of behaviors in that way. It's not illegal. Well, okay, maybe it's immoral, all right? Maybe it's just not a good thing to do. Maybe there's other ways you can get in trouble, okay? Yeah, I guess I could read through the rest. It probably says if she got fired from her job, but the point of the article was that, as the headline said, it's not illegal to teach drunk. They should have added more to the headline, because this is lawandcrime.com. Headline in bold letters: it's not illegal to teach drunk. Charges dropped against second grade teacher accused of being intoxicated in class. That sends the wrong message. We need to let our teachers know it's wrong. It's wrong. Anyway, just throwing it out there before I leave, and I'm leaving now. But before I go, I want to say thank you to everybody who listened to the show today. Please subscribe on whatever platform you're listening on. Please let your friends know about the show. Share it. Follow me on all of my socials at Victor Wilt. And make sure to tune in tomorrow. Catch the show live with all the music at riverbendmediagroup.com. This show a production of Riverbend Media Group. If you want to reach out to the show or get more info, hit up the website again, riverbendmediagroup.com.